Hello to all you crime lovers. Welcome to Crime Story Animation. Hope you're doing great and ready for another thrilling and mysterious crime story. Do you love mysterious and thrilling crime stories? Here, we tell each case in a unique way, with realistic animations and anthropomorphic animal characters. If you enjoy this storytelling style, your support helps us bring more cases to life. So, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and never miss a new case. Now, are you ready? Let's dive into today's story. I always thought that when a child goes missing, their parents would go insane with worry. But when I looked into the Laurie Vallo case, I realized that this isn't always true. Not only did this woman make no effort to find her children, but when asked about them, she calmly lied. Laurie Vallo was born in California in 1973. From a young age, she was always fascinated by apocalyptic stories. In church, she listened intently to the priest's sermons about the battle between good and evil. But what set her apart from others was that she didn't want to be just an ordinary person. Laurie always believed that a great destiny awaited her. During her teenage years, she was a charming and social girl. She married young and became a mother at an early age. However, her marriages failed one after another. She married 5 times, and each time she had strange reasons for the separation. But in her 4th marriage, something happened that changed the course of her life. In her 4th marriage, Laurie had a peaceful life with a man named Charles Vallo. They had 2 children, Tylee and JJ, a boy with special needs who required his mother's care. But everything changed when Laurie met a writer named Chad Daybell. Chad was a man who wrote books about the apocalypse and God's prophets. He claimed that some people were light spirits with a divine mission, while others were dark spirits that needed to be eliminated. Laurie, who had always sought a deeper meaning in her life, was drawn to Chad. Gradually, she came to believe that she was a prophet herself, destined to rid the world of dark spirits. The first victim of this belief was her husband, Charles. Noticing Laurie's change in behavior, he sought help from the police. In his complaint, Charles stated, "My wife says she hears God's voice and wants to kill me." But the police didn't take him seriously. A few months later, Charles was mysteriously shot and killed in his home. Laurie claimed it was self-defense, but what was strange was that after her husband's murder, she showed no signs of grief and immediately married Chad. On September 10th, 2019, a security camera captured Tylee Vallo, Laurie's 17-year-old daughter, at the family home in Rexburg, Idaho. She was with her mother and Chad Daybell. No one knew that this would be the last recorded image of Tylee. On September 23rd, 2019, JJ Vallo, Laurie's 7-year-old son who had autism, was last seen at his school. His teacher described him. He was always full of energy, but on his last day, he was quieter than ever, almost as if he knew something. Kay Woodcock, JJ's grandmother, became worried from the very beginning. She usually had video calls with her grandson, but suddenly the calls stopped. Finally, in November 2019, she contacted the police and requested a welfare check on the children. The police immediately went to Laurie's home in Rexburg. Officers found her and asked where the children were. Laurie smiled and said, "They're with a family friend." But the police discovered that there was no record of Tylee being enrolled in any university, and Laurie provided no evidence to support her claim. A few days later, officers returned to question Laurie again. But this time, she and Chad Daybell had disappeared. On June 9th, 2020, a team of police officers and cadaver dogs entered Chad Daybell's property. They began digging in the yard. After hours of excavation, suddenly one of the officers shouted, "Look at this!" Beneath the soil, they found the remains of a body wrapped in plastic. Moments later, they made an even more horrifying discovery: the burned and dismembered remains of Laurie Vallo. But JJ's body had been buried differently. He was found with his hands and feet tied with rope and his head covered with a plastic bag. After the bodies were discovered, the police immediately arrested Chad Daybell. Laurie, who was already in temporary custody, now faced murder charges. During interrogations, she showed no remorse. She still believed she had fulfilled her divine mission. In court, the prosecutor declared, "She was not a mother. She was a monster." Without hesitation, the judge sentenced Laurie to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Laurie Vallo was once an ordinary woman, a mother who laughed, took her kids to school and read them stories. But gradually, her dangerous beliefs transformed her into a monster, one who not only killed her husband, but also sacrificed her 2 children for her delusions. Now she sits in a cell in a federal prison. But perhaps until the day she dies, she will still believe she did the right thing. And that is the most terrifying part of the story. In a world full of complexities and difficult choices, sometimes a person's beliefs can lead them down roads with no return. The story of Laurie Vallo is a bitter warning about the power of thoughts and beliefs, and how someone who once seemed ordinary can transform into a monster. She not only took innocent lives, but also trapped herself in her delusions. Perhaps in Laurie's heart, she always believed that what she did was right. Perhaps to her, this path seemed like a clear and mistake-free road, a road that led her to a place of being a chosen prophet. But in reality, she was not a prophet, but a being who strayed onto the wrong path, a path that led to the loss of all her humanity.
Some cases remain unsolved, but the truth is never buried forever. Don't forget to subscribe. The next case might be even darker.